Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Indian School of Physics. So this is Nitin here and today I have come up with another video. It is based on radius of curvature. So in this video we are going to derive the radius of curvature formula, the very famous one, and we'll be discussing some geometrical aspect of radius of curvature. So let's start today's video. So the first part is basically the derivation of this formula. Now this formula is very common and you'll be seeing it almost in every book, but I don't think if you can ever find the proof of it. So today we are going to discuss the proof of it, how this equation has been derived. Okay, so let's start today's video. So basically how radius of curvature is defined, we will first discuss about that. So if there is a curve and this curve can be anything, so I am taking this curve as some function of x, y equal to f of x. Now so here if I take a very small arc, as you can see here, if I take a very small arc, so this small part of the arc, it can be treated as a straight line also, it can be treated as a part of some circle also, okay, depending on the approximation. So we can treat this as in certain situation as a straight line, and we can also treat it as a part of some circle. So if it is part of some circle, then radius of that particular circle, that is going to be the radius of curvature at that particular point, as you can see here. And if a function is given, this is how we normally calculate radius of curvature. So we are going to work on this formula, how to obtain this formula. So as you can see here, I'm taking that small length of dl, which I have shown you earlier. It is part of some circle, so I'm drawing that circle, and I'm assuming here that this small arc is subtending angle of d theta at the center. It is subtending angle of d theta at the center. So we can say from the geometry that arc length is going to be radius into angle, or you can say from here we will get radius is equal to radius of that circle is equal to arc length by angle subtended. Now this arc length dl is very easy to calculate. We can directly write it as root of dx square plus dy square. It is something like this. So this is dx and this is dy, and so this length I can write root of dx square plus dy square. So it's very easy to calculate. If I take dx outside, I can write it as root of 1 plus dy by dx whole square times dx. Now entire exercise is about this d theta. If somehow we can find this d theta, we are going to get the answer for it. We'll get the desired relation. So here that arc which I have taken, I'm drawing a tangent at that point, very small point. I'm taking it as a part of straight line, so that will become tangent also. So slope of this tangent theta, if this angle made by x-axis is theta, then I can say tan theta is dy by dx by the definition of slope, or it is also called as gradient. So now here you can see some simple geometry I am going to use now. So if this angle is theta, if I drop a perpendicular here from the center, this angle is going to be 90 minus theta, 90 minus theta. This angle is going to be theta, and this angle is d theta here. All right. So now I can write this tan theta as dy by dx. What do I need? I need d theta in the equation. So I'm going to differentiate this relation with respect to theta. So this is going to become sec square theta d theta by dx. Sorry, we are going to differentiate it with respect to x. So sec square theta d theta by dx. Now here this will become t2y by dx square. I can write this sec square theta as 1 plus tan square theta times d theta by dx, and that is equal to d2y by dx square. Further, if I rearrange these terms, I will get the value of d theta here, and that d theta is t2y by dx square divided by 1 plus tan square theta times dx. This tan theta I can write as dy by dx whole square. So this is going to be the expression of d theta. Now if this expression, if I substitute in this first equation where dl value is known to me, then I'm going to get this radius of curvature as dl by d theta on substituting values. If you do the calculation, many terms will get cancelled, or finally if you are rearranging, we are going to get this famous formula 1 plus dy by dx whole square to the power 3 by 2 divided by d2y by dx square. I hope you have enjoyed this formula. So let's discuss some very important point related to radius of curvature now. If you see this top part in the numerator, this is always positive. But this part, this is second derivative, it can be positive, it can be negative also. So if we further move here, now if this is positive, here you can see if this d2y by dx square is positive, RC will be positive, and if d2y by dx square is negative, RC is going to be negative. So here if RC is positive, the circle will lie above the curve. This type of situation we are going to get. This is the curve, and at some point it will be opening slightly upwards so that circle can lie above the curve. In that situation, radius of curvature will be taken as positive, or we can simply say such type of curve, this type of curve opening, this is going to give us double derivative to be positive. All right. The next one, if RC is negative, RC negative means double derivative is negative. So circle will lie below the curve, and this type of situation we are going to get. RC is negative means double derivative is negative. By using these logics only, we have derived the concept of maxima minima. So you can say at local maxima, the curve will have a shape like this. At local maxima, the curve will have a shape like this. So slope of tangent is 0, and this circle is lying below the curve. So correct condition for maxima will become slope is 0 and this double derivative should be negative. Many of you would have wondered about how this condition actually comes in maths also. Similarly, I can say here, if there is a curve which is attaining a local minima at some point, so its shape must be like this around that point, and here slope is 0, slope of tangent is 0 at that point, and this circle is lying above the curve, so double derivative is going to be positive and that derivative is going to be 0. Slope is 0 and double derivative is positive. So I hope this part is clear to you, how this maximum minimum concept has been derived using radius of curvature. So radius of curvature is going to tell us more about the shape of the function, how that shape is changing. We get the idea from double derivative, or you can say radius of curvature. Similarly, I can use this radius of curvature concept in analyzing displacement time graph as well, because I am writing this displacement acceleration as d2x by dt square, which is double derivative of x. So if I am plotting a xt graph, the radius of curvature of xt graph is related to the acceleration. Because this numerator is always going to be positive, we are not worried about it. We are mainly concentrating or focusing on this double derivative, which is d2x by dt square, which is nothing but the acceleration. So you can see here in this part, circle will lie below the curve. So radius of curvature is negative. Radius of curvature is negative. So what is the meaning of it? A is negative. A is negative means it is in left side direction. Then there is going to be one point where this radius of curvature is going to be changing its sign. We call these points as point of inflection. Now in this part, this circles will lie above the curve, or you can say radius of curvature is positive, acceleration is positive. So this acceleration will be towards right. Similarly, for this part again, I can say this radius of curvature is going to be negative, acceleration will be negative, or it is in left side. Similarly for C to D, now I can say this circle will lie above the curve, so its radius of curvature is positive, or acceleration is positive. Here there is a mistake I have made here. This is going to be positive. Okay, now here this part here graph is constant. Here this graph is constant, so I can say acceleration is going to be 0, or this radius of curvature, since it is flat, it will be approaching towards infinity. So by using radius of curvature concept, we can comment on xt graph also. So here there is another approach. If a particle is moving in any random curve, as you can see here, and its velocity vector and acceleration vector at a particular instant are given, so at that particular instant we need to find the radius of curvature of the path followed by the particle. So we have seen this radius of curvature formula. One is 1 plus dy by dx whole square to the power 3 by 2 divided by d2y by dx square. That is that formula we are going to use when curve equation is given. Or other than that, velocity and acceleration relation, if it is given, we can use that a centripetal is equal to v square by r. Or from there r we can write as v square by a perpendicular, a radial. So if we substitute those values, we are going to get that radius of curvature. So main objective here is finding the value of AR, so that we can substitute it in this expression and get the value of radius of curvature at this particular instant. So in this case, now total acceleration I can write as the radial acceleration, which is going to be perpendicular to velocity, and tangential acceleration is going to be parallel to velocity. Okay, so this AT is component of acceleration in the direction of v cap. It is in the direction of v cap. So here I can write this AT is nothing but a cos theta magnitude wise. Okay, and direction of this is along v cap. Okay, so AT is a cos theta, and we have this relation here, a dot v is equal to av cos theta. So from here I can substitute the value of a cos theta, which will become a dot v divided by v. So I can write this further as a dot v cap. This is the projection vector concept you would have studied in your maths class. Okay, so now this is the magnitude. If I multiply this with the unit vector along v cap, I am going to get this vector. So here if I multiply this, I am going to get a tangential, and also I am going to get this AR value, that is total acceleration minus AT value we have calculated here. So once you know this AR, you have the value of V also. So we can write it as radius of curvature as vector V whole square divided by a radial, which is total acceleration minus tangential acceleration. So these are different geometrical approach for it. And if curve equation is given, the first one is curve equation. So we can easily find out by differentiating that, finding dy by dx and d2y by dx square, and we'll get the radius of curvature. Another way is if acceleration and velocities are given, how to proceed in those situations. Then we have seen the significance on xt graph also. And other than that, we have used the same concept in maxima and minima as well. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and you have liked this proof and the other discussion which we have done. So if you have liked the video, please give a thumbs up, and share this video with your friends and teachers, and make sure you are subscribing my channel. Thank you very much. I'll come up with another video very soon. Thank you.